Right. How did you go about kind of planning a series like that? And did you self-publish? How did you publish?
So the first book was, God, it was actually a series of novellas that I self-published on
Mm.
Amazon, which hindsight, probably not the best decision, but here we are. Those first four novellas, I re-edited them into what became the first book. So they got the first overhaul to make them into Striker Five Elements of Change. And that became book one. And while I was doing that, it's a fun world. I like the characters, and I have a penchant for pain with my characters. I like to, well, we all do it as writers. I like to know what makes them tick, so I put them in situations that for the second book of exploring less world endy type situations and just like what happens if one is going to New York City for a cooking class? What happens if one is taking a vacation? What happens if another's just on a standard mission that goes wrong? Um, so very putting them in there every day, let their true characters come through in a way that truthfully they don't in the first book. That they aren't quite the characters that they do eventually become. Um, so while I was writing the second book, that's when I plotted out the rest of the series. So from that point on, I knew the big events. I knew what was going to happen by the end of what would eventually become the Bleeding Blue Sky, the fifth book, the fifth and final book. Um, so I had plotted everything out, and details change, and you do additional research, figure out, okay, how's this going to happen? And of course, characters have minds of their own too, and sometimes just take a left. Uh, but for everything, at least during the second book, I decided, okay, I know exactly where I need to go with this. And I set it up as broad